at Planet Hollywood, and they literally Fresh Night is Thursday night. She is a featured singer for Meatloaf right now, and they have a 2-month run there. And it's actually the producer of that show is who I'm working with on a show that I want to bring into Vegas that is in the line of this the same genre of this Rock Tales and Cocktails show. But yeah, she's Meat's new featured singer. She just performed in front of 40,000 people in London about a month ago.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah,
so
And the fun thing about the Meatloaf gig is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say. So, were you the influence on your kids? I mean, when you all get together, is it like a musical in itself?
Pretty much.
Oh,
There's music going on all day when my sons are with me, and she's always warming up or learning a new song or something like that. And I, of course, have my musical field. When it comes to my kids, I guess it was simply osmosis. They grew up backstage on Broadway and on national tours. I would like to be doing a song, and I'd look down into the orchestra pit, and there would be my son sitting next to the guitar players, watching them play the guitar. So it was just, I guess, by osmosis that they were going to do it. And they do have a pretty hot band right now in L.A. In fact, they're actually playing the Hard Rock Casino here in Las Vegas this Thursday night.
Very cool.
At 10:45. So that's a really cool gig. They're actually headlining. They played them a couple of months ago, and they asked them back because they loved them so much.
Very nice,
Adrian. We met in the musicals I did. We met in a musical that I did, and that's why she's the person that she is.
Wow. It's got to be
a show that we did. We did a show up in Reno called Perfect 10, and that's when I met her, with that show, and we've been together for quite a while now.
How often are you on the road? How often is your wife on the road? And do you travel with her? Does she travel? How does that work?
Well, her gig mainly has been in Vegas. She was with one of the number one bands here in Vegas. It still is, and she's taken the time out to be with Meat at this point from that band. So she's been primarily in Vegas. I, on the other hand, because I do a lot of musical theater, and whether it's a role in a film or whatever, very rarely a lot of that stuff happens here in Vegas, which is why I'm trying to get a show here permanently so that we can be together more often. I'm usually gone. I'm off doing a musical somewhere or, whatever. I just recently actually had a show that I did on Princess Cruises that they kind of made an offer I couldn't refuse. So I was on ships for a while doing it. So wow. I was gone for quite a while, but fortunately she's able to come and visit whenever I'm gone too. But yeah,
very nice.
We're always on the road. We're always doing something, and now my sons are probably going to start doing a tour and all. So yeah, it's just it's the life of an entertainer. It's just the way it goes.
We'd love to have them on the show.
I was just going to say that.
We'd love to have them on the show to talk about their work. Yeah.
Cool.
That would be great. Hey, before we let you go, because you've been very generous with your time here, I just wanted to talk to you about Dance Fever just for a second. How did that all come about? How did that all come about? I know the whole dance craze back then, but how did you get the show?
Well, I was a judge on it a year or two before Merv asked me to do it, and they were replacing Denny Terrio, the original guy, and
right.
They knew that not a lot of people in Hollywood back in that day, could sing and dance. It wasn't that. I came from musicals, and Merv knew that because I had actually done, when I went through with a tour of Greece back then, I actually we actually did a number from the musical on Merv Griffin on his talk show. And then I did, of course, Grease 2, and I went on a show and talked about Grease 2. So he knew that I could sing and dance, from day one. And there weren't a lot of people in Hollywood that can do that. And because to be a host of that show, you open the show dancing with those girls. And on top of it, then I was an extra added thing where actually every third show I was actually the entertainment, and I would sing too. So he was replacing Denny and literally just called up my agent and said, would Adrian be interested in hosting it? And that was one of the easiest jobs I ever got.
It looked like a hell of a lot of fun. I will say that.
It was a blast. It was like a party all weekend. We would shoot 5 shows on a Saturday and a Sunday, and it was just a blast because all of the guest stars, the judges. You know, we created the format that everybody's doing right now. Dancing with the Stars, everything, all of the 3-judge panel and all that stuff. It was Merv's show that created the whole format and all.
So Adrian, he does not get mentioned enough. He's
not enough.
Forgotten, and it's a shame.
Yeah, he really, and he was one of the classiest producers I've ever worked for in my life. He was a class act all the way through, treated people well, and was a very innovative a creator for shows. Everybody just thinks of Merv Griffin as being that talk show host, but hey, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy are still running.
Yep. That's crazy.
Very successful, absolutely. And Adrian, for those people listening at home, can you give a brief description of what Dance Fever was? It had 3 celebrity judges, right?
3 celebrity judges, and basically all of the legwork was done by me, the producer, and some other people to go into cities all over the country before the season started and actually have auditions at disco. Back in that day, they were discos or dance clubs. They would advertise that Dance Fever was coming in to pick their contestants for the season, and we'd fly in contestants for each show. I think we had about 4 couples for each show, and we would shoot 5 shows a weekend. So you'd have about 20, 30 couples that were there for the weekend to compete, and they'd do their dance. The judges would make their comments, and then they'd give them a score, and whoever won went on to the finals, the semifinals, and then there was a final.
Too familiar. Sounds eerily familiar.
Yeah, I know. It's like, everybody thinks that people keep on, bringing new stuff, but it's kind of like you look back in time and they're just putting different faces on it.
That's right.
Just structuring it in a different, slightly different way. But
you were way ahead of your time.
Yeah.
Way ahead of your time. It's kind of like when I hear a new song and they've sampled a song from the 70s and 80s, and these guys think that they've reinvented the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. It drives me crazy. Drives me absolutely crazy.
It's funny. My wife just said something. We were watching a Billy Joel special last night, and Paul McCartney was on in his concert, and he was singing a song, and she just said to me, I didn't realize that somebody else had sung that song before Tiffany sang it back when she was a teenager and stuff.
Is that I Saw You Standing There? Was that the song?
I think so.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Yeah. Adrian, thanks so much for your time tonight, man. Thanks for taking time out from Monday Night Football. No, it was really a lot of fun. I hope to have you back sometime because it was a joy talking to you. And best of luck with future endeavors and to your wife and your kids.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thanks for doing all your homework and everything. It was a great interview.
You bet. Hey, thank you, Adrian. That means a lot. Take care. Have a good night.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Nick Gelso.
You continue to impress me, Tyree.
Well, I'll tell you what, that meant a lot to me. When a guest comes on our show and thinks that it was time well spent, that means a lot to me, Nick.
Hey, listen, I don't think anybody would walk away from an interview with Tyree and think it was a waste of time. And I sound sarcastic saying that, but I'm being honest. You do your homework, and you interview extremely well. I mean, I sit here and listen, take it all in, kind of update the Facebook page, and it's just so damn interesting. I mean, Adrian was just terrific.
Yeah, he was. And I'll be honest, I never thought that Merv Griffin's name would ever get mentioned on Beats and Eats. Ever. And you're so right, Nick. You are so right. We could do a show on Merv Griffin. Seriously.
No doubt about it.
He is an entertainment god, the late Merv Griffin. And there are kids at home that may be listening to the show, Nick, who don't know who he is, yet his fingerprints are all over the shows they're watching.
No doubt about it. And who do we Ryan Seacrest deserves a lot of credit. Simon Cowell?
Yeah, Simon Cowell, right.
I mean, hard worker, deserves a lot of credit, but this guy was the original. I mean, Merv Griffin was the original. He created all of these game shows. He created the concept of talent shows and that kind of stuff. And look, today our television is dominated by it, and this is a guy that barely gets mentioned anymore. Shame on us. Ever
gets mentioned. And I'm not really sure why that is, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we've lost his name and all the big names that have come out since his passing, but I think if you were to talk to many in Hollywood and mentioned his name, they'd be like, yeah, he is the Babe Ruth of entertainment.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I think that the people in the know would mention it, but just he doesn't get mentioned enough.
And before your time, Nick, even before your time where you were watching TV, I would get home from school. This is how geeky I am. You called me a geek earlier. It's so true when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Great.
I am. I would actually rush home from school and watch the Merv Griffin show.
Yeah, that's before my time.
Yeah, it is. And same for Mike Douglas. You know, John Lennon went on the Mike Douglas show. Some really cool guests went on.
Well, there are some great YouTube interviews. Lennon's is one of them on Douglas.
Yeah, it is terrific. It is a terrific interview. And who knows what state of mind John Lennon was during that interview with Mike
Douglas. It made it all the better. Come on.
Now, what I loved about the Merv Griffin show and the Mike Douglas show, and this is the great thing about having your own show, both of them would sing on their shows, and they couldn't sing.
No. Well, Sinatra in the last 30 years of his life couldn't sing either, but it's a charisma thing.
Very much so, yeah.
We do share the mic here, but if you'd like to start singing on Monday evening, I certainly would step away for a while.
That I will pass on. Anybody who has witnessed me at karaoke, although it's been about 20 years, will know that is not one of Tyray's strengths.
What a douchebag thing, karaoke, isn't it?
What's that?
Oh, boy, I hope Mad Dog's not listening.
Oh, no.
I just called karaoke douchebag. I mean, it's not douchebag, but it's an exhibition for normal people to go on stage. It's a free pass. It's a hall pass to go on stage drunk and act like a douchebag.
I had two ex-girlfriends of mine do a duet. They were friends, and we both, I dated both of them, and they went up, and I remember this about 20 years ago and saying "Blaze of Glory" by Bon Jovi. It was the worst 3 minutes of my life. I can't get those minutes back. It was so painful, and I never quite looked, and they were both very good looking, Nick, but I never quite looked at them the same again after watching them just brutalize this Bon Jovi song. I never found them sexy again after that, so beware. If you're going to sing karaoke, make sure you can at least carry a tune.
Yeah, most people can't, and when they're in a drunken state, that it just really doesn't matter at that point because
it's funny. They think they sound great.
There's a local bar here. It's called Old Time Charlie's, and it's well known for its karaoke night on Tuesday nights. And I mean, when I say well known, it's got 200 people in there, and everybody's not there to listen to karaoke, but it's a true testament to the fact that we as Americans love to watch other people make fools of themselves.
We do. What is with that? What do you think?
I stay very far away from karaoke nights. What is it with that? I think we talked about this on other shows, Ty. It's we love to build people up when they're on their way up, and then we love to watch them crash and burn. I mean, so it's funny. We love to watch that kind of stuff.
I mean, how many times during America's Funniest Home Videos, not that I watch that show, or any bad B-level comedy, some guy gets whacked in the nuts and everybody finds it hysterical. I've never got that.
Yeah. It's the truth.
It is the truth, man. It is the truth. Well, having said all that, let's do this, Nick. Let's take our first break, and when we come back, let's talk a little bit about your favorite topic.
What is that? Oh, it's William Shatner?
Yeah, we can talk about that, or we can talk a little bit about Breaking Bad and also talk about just finales in general. Last night's Breaking Bad finale, Nick, 10 million people watched that show?
Yes, and I will say this. I think Lost beat it out for all time best. But I will say this. Breaking Bad was born of Netflix. I mean, it premiered on television, obviously, but it built its popularity on Netflix. And if they add the Netflix numbers in for downloads, when it is released in Netflix, I'm sure it's going to blow